So guys, I just shot this intro and I did something silly. What I was saying in the original intro, I'm really conflicted about the video we're about to shoot. You guys know how I feel about this. This could be a double-edged sword. Sometimes it gives these companies a little bit of publicity. If you see the title, you already know what it is. This is 100% a knockoff, counterfeit Grimsmo Norseman. So we are going to turn it around and we're going to look at it. And I'm going to show you the knife. We're going to get into it. I'll take it apart. It's going to be kind of a longer video because we're going to look at all the elements that are straight up counterfeits and some of the differences. Automatically, there's a couple things that I noticed right off the bat. Thumb stud's different. The action is different. Things like that. But yeah, we are going to take it apart. We are going to look at it. But I don't want you, this is in no way, shape, or form me saying that, oh, you should get one of these knives. It's in no way even comparable to the work that John and Eric do. There's so many problems with this knife. So yeah, let's go ahead and turn down the music because turn down the volume because here comes the music. So you guys know my stance on knockoffs and counterfeits. This is completely 100% a counterfeit. They have logos that are so similar to John and Eric's that like you could be fooled easily. They use the same font for engraving, things like that. The milling pattern looks almost identical. There's some issues with that. So the problem with these videos is a lot of times I do this and then people are like, oh, that looks great. I'll get one of these. And I hate the fact that's happening, but I do want you guys to know and be aware that these are being done. And if you're getting one, you're supporting theft and screw you. And two, in no way, shape, or form can you compare this to an actual Grimsmo, which I've sharpened numerous of. John actually recommends my sharpening service for his US-based customers. If you are buying these, I personally think if you're buying these and thinking that you're getting something that you'd be able to show and trick people with and things like that, then I personally think you're a piece of crap. I really do. If you're putting this in your pocket and playing it off, you've got an actual Grimsmo, no different than if you've got a counterfeit Strider and you're playing it off like you got the real deal, then by all means, I think you're a piece of crap personally. This is 100% out and out theft of intellectual property. And design logos and everything. Everything about this is knocked off. This company is making knockoff Holt Spectres. They're making knockoff Jake Hoback war horses. They're making knockoff Rasks. And I mean, they're to the point, like I said, they're using even the same logos and the font and everything like that. So yeah, let's just go ahead and turn this around and take a look at it. I'm not looking forward to this. I hate this thing. The bright side of this is, and I'll mention this again at the end, the owner of this knife, after hearing me complain about it and seeing me complain about it on YouTube or Instagram, has decided he doesn't want this knife back. He does not want this knife back. He wants me and PDM to destroy this. But we'll talk about how we're going to do that a little bit later. So let's go ahead and turn the camera around and take a look at it. All right, guys, so we're going to take a look at it. I hate the fact that this even exists. So fit right off the bat, fit and finish is not even close to an actual Grimsmo Norseman. That screw stands up real proud in a couple, like it stands up. Like if you have an actual Norseman, you don't feel that. It's pretty smooth. Lock bar tension on this was horrible when it first came in. I was going to adjust it for the customer because, like I said, I will sharpen these for you, but I will judge you for owning it. So I adjusted the lock tension, but everything on this could have been, like, this is just lazy. This is just lazy and thieving. Oh, I'm not smart enough to come up with my own knife design, so I'll just steal somebody else's and mark it on their popularity. Like, not being able to come up with your own knife design, that's ridiculous. I'm a big dummy, and I came up with my own fucking knife design. Oops, dropped an F-bomb already. I gotta keep track of those. So this is a complete and utter forgery, knockoff, clone, whatever you want to call it. It is theft. It's stealing. They stole intellectual property. They stole the design and then accomplished it poorly. The action on this is horrible. I've never had a Grimsmo fail to deploy. And this one, like, it's like every third time. Action, it's really weak. So let's look at it. Let's go ahead and take a look. They got the same milling patterns, things like that. Thumb stud has got this weird lip. I've never seen one of those on an actual Grimsmo that I remember. But this is the big one. Like, on an actual Norseman, the milling is fairly smooth. Like, it's just like it's almost a remnant. It's like a ghost of the milling pattern. These are actual stair steps. It does not cut very well. If you look, the logo is almost identical to John and Eric's logos. The logo on the pocket clip. Now, we're going to take this apart and we're going to look at it, even to the point where they use the same font for the lettering and numbering. So let's go ahead and we'll get my toolbox and we're going to take this thing apart. We may have a problem because I've had to Loctite. That's the other thing. This pivot, I've had to Loctite this pivot 3 times and the blade still keeps coming loose. So whatever screws they're using, however they're making their screws, they're not doing a very good job of it. And this shifts back and forth as opposed to the way John and Eric do it. Everything on it is sharp and different than what I would expect in a Norseman. So don't think that you're going to be able to get this and say, hey, I got the same as a Norseman, because you didn't. So first things first, this is what you get when you get the knife, apparently. You get a half-ass case with a bit driver that I'm pretty sure is made out of brass. This does not, like, I use this T9 like a half a time. A card that tells you what you got. And like I said, Hilberg knives, screw these guys. Even their logo looks like the Grimsmo boys. So let's go ahead and try and tear this thing apart. And I apologize if the audio sounded weird, is because this new camera, the new phone, actually tracks the audio like in 2 different directions. So you're gonna hear me moving around and it sounds weird. Let's see if I can get this pivot out without, yeah, look at that. I've Loctited this thing. Let's see, with red Loctite. You can see there's red Loctite on that. I've Loctited this thing like 3 times and it still keeps just loosening up. The other thing too, steel screws. If I remember correctly, every one of the Norseman pivot screws is titanium. So let's go ahead, we'll take this apart and I'll show you why I get so upset about all of this. It'd be a shame if I lost a screw and couldn't put this piece of crap back together. So first thing you're gonna see that? Norseman, February 2019. Look familiar? It ought to, because it's the same font that John and Eric use. However, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe that John and Eric have switched to a ball detent. I think they still use a detent post, which gives that knife such a snappy action. So there's that, the first of the forging. Then you have, I said, your blade font. And just generic ceramic washers. Your blade font, all of them that I've seen are numbered 666. M390, the blade is like, it gets horribly nasty, and I think it's because I honestly do not think this is M390 steel. There was very little wear on this detent track when it first came in, and it was rough and coarse, and like I said, this was originally going back to a customer. I was like, all right, I'll treat it like I treat every other item that comes in. So I was cleaning it up and doing a little bit of work to smooth out the action on it. So, you know, another thing that this knife has that I've never seen on a Grimsmo Norseman, it has lock stick. So let's look at the other side of the scale. Let's see here. Have you seen the ones that they're selling that say proudly made in Canada? Well, look at this. Proudly made in Hong Kong. So there we go, guys. There's the knife taken apart. And we're not even gonna bother going back and putting it back together. So this is a piece of crap theft. And like I said, if you support this, I personally hope that you stop following my channel if you support the theft of intellectual property. John and Eric have worked really hard. Well, let's turn this around and we'll do this pontificating. So imagine a lot of you are like, geez, Mike, tell us how you really feel. I personally think that anyone that's involved in the clone market, the theft of intellectual property and stuff like that, I personally think that they should be tied down and have their feet beat with sticks. John and Eric have worked extremely hard over the last 5 years to build their reputation as premier knife makers of extremely high quality products. To go with the Saga Pin, the Rask, which I don't honestly like all of their design cues. I don't know why this blade shape does speak to me so well, but the fact is they've worked really hard to establish a reputation, and the fact that there are companies out there that will then go and try to just basically, I'm gonna suck myself through because there's people out there that don't know any better. And then to provide a product at a crap quality point. Like I said, that pivot has come loose, that pivot screw has come loose. I am using it and it has come loose, and I've re-Loctited it 3 times with red Loctite. You saw how easy that came out. It's a piece of crap. This is not even close to the level of quality you get in an actual Grimsmo. But the fact is, people buy these and like, oh, it's the same. It's going to be the same. It's not. It's not. I'm telling you right now, everything about this screams piece of crap. So I'm not 100% sure if I'm even going to put it back together. I might just all put it in a bag, because the fact is, we are going to destroy this knife, and we're going to videotape it, film it, and I'm going to edit it in. My friend David at Hiking with a Viking is going to see what he can do with some super heavy arrowheads shot from his bow. In case you don't know, he's pretty much a professional hunter. Yeah, Hiking with a Viking, he's pretty much a professional hunter. So we're going to destroy this knife. He's going to send me back whatever's left, and I'm going to grind it into dust and then pee on it. I won't tape that part. But this is just, it's ridiculous. Because the fact is that if you were to buy a knife made by this company in an original design at the $200 price point, you probably would not be disappointed. The fact is that they could make a quality knife if they would just not be freaking lazy. And to say, oh, well, I don't know how to design a knife. Look, guys, I'm an idiot and I know how to design a knife. I have 2 knives in production, and 1 that is scheduled to come out, and a 3rd that I'm thinking about doing a collaboration with a US knife maker. It's not that hard. Come up with your own designs. Obviously, the quality of machining is there. You know, just some touch-up stuff, like fix your pivot screw. But, you know, to just out and out steal a design, it's garbage. It's crap, and it shouldn't happen. And I wish that there was a way to go after some of these overseas companies that are doing counterfeiting. Now, I don't want you guys to think we're not going to try and group all these companies together, because I'm telling you right now, We Knives does not allow their designs to be duplicated. They keep good control of designs. Artisan Knives does as well. But there are some other companies that are a little bit disreputable. Case in point, if you saw the whole VDK thing that just happened with the company, I'm not going to name the company, but you all know who it was. The company that he used that took his knives that he said were not up to his quality standards and decided to release them anyway to Mastrop. Mastrop had no idea that they had not been approved by the designer. And then they took that whole drop down. But, you know, there are companies out there that do not have the strict adherence to some of these rules, like We Knife Company, Riat, Artisan. There's a whole gambit of companies out there that are making things and designing things that can be trusted. But then there's companies like this. Like I said, if you buy these knowing what they are, I personally think you're a piece of crap. And I hope that if you do get offended by that, if you're one of my followers and you get offended by that, that you find another channel. Because I personally like talking to John Grimsmo, and there's so many other knife makers that are getting designs stolen that I talk to and I like. Joe and Angie at Holt Knives, the Holt Spectre, they are knocking that off and putting up fake ones of those. Small mom and pop, something like that, where people are like, oh, I can get the same knife for cheaper, could wreck their business. It's not the same knife. I'm telling you right now, judging by this, it's not going to be the same knife. It's never going to meet the quality standards that you would expect from a Grimsmo or a Holt knife or Jake Hoback, who, I mean, I'm not going to mince words. I really don't like Jake Hoback that much, personally. But the fact is that he's a knife maker that has original designs, and they stole a design. His knife, however, if you guys would like to, you can report all this to the American Knife and Tool Institute, because the knife that they have of his that's a knockoff does say it ships from the United States. So it may be an avenue where you can pursue a little. Like Jake would be the one that could pursue that, because it says it ships from the US, which means that they have a US component to these knives that are being knocked off, and you could feasibly pursue it that way. Jake would have to do the big thing, but we could all go to American Knife and Tool Institute and take the information that I provided you with that business card that I threw over here somewhere because it disgusts me, and report them. So, guys, I got nothing else to say about this. I really don't. It irritates me. It makes me mad. And the fact is, they're stealing from people I know. And like I said, there it is. That's the name of the company. Report them on American Knife and Tool Institute. The fact is that, like I said, they're stealing. Whether I like Jake personally or not, which is, a lot of it's just a personality thing. Jake and I have personalities that do not mesh. I've talked to him a few times, and I respect him as a knife maker, but I might not like him as a person. That happens a lot of times, I mean, do I hate him? No. I mean, it's just not the kind of person that we wouldn't be friends like me and Elliot and Chris are. But the fact is, it's garbage. It's garbage, it's crap, and the fact that it happens is horrible. And so I would appreciate it if you guys did not participate in the purchasing of clones and knockoffs. And if you do, just personally know that I personally have some disdain for that. Now, if you purchase something by accident, I got, if you guys remember, I purchased 2 knives now that have been fake. I had I had a Strider that I got that was 100% a fake. Didn't realize it until after I got it. And at first I was like, oh, that looks great. And then, you start to notice the little things. The other one was that Ator survival knife that was supposed to be an actual Ator, which are fairly expensive fixed blade knives. And it's still an okay knife. And I use it in the garage for cutting up stuff. But the fact is that it is 100% a fake. And I got and paid the price for that knife that would have been a good price for a used Ator. It turns out that I bought a counterfeit that I probably could have got for $10 instead of what I paid for it. So, God, it just makes me mad. You know what I didn't check? I should do this right now while I got you guys on camera. I didn't check to see if they put any engraving on the underside of the pocket clip. Let's see if they went ahead and counterfeited it that far. Yep, they absolutely did. Even to the point of putting things on the knives in the exact same places that John and Eric did. I hope I lost that. Guys, I'm irritated. I'm upset. This frustrates me. But now I can put that thing in a box and send it to David and let him shoot arrows at it. Guys, I love you. If you like the videos, give them a thumbs up. If you don't like them, give them a thumbs down. But tell me why. Like I said in the beginning, there is a link in the description below to join the channel if you want to try and support the channel. As always, in this corner will be a video that YouTube thinks you like. Down here will be a link to another channel, probably David, since he's going to be the one doing the destruction on this. Down in this corner is going to be a join link, and up here will be a subscription link. So with that all being said, guys, take care of yourselves. It's weird times right now. It feels like we skipped the murder hornets. I guess the murder hornets were like a filler episode. So take care of yourselves in these weird times, and I will talk to you all later.